It's Tracy here. Now, if you want to build professional high-level funnels, then this funnel building masterclass is for you. And in this masterclass, I'm going to build from scratch, yes, a blank page, my AI employee funnel here, so you can learn how to build funnels of this quality as well. And I promise you, even if you're new to funnel building in HighLevel or website building in HighLevel, as long as you follow my step by step, this will be easy for you, and you'll be able to build really cool funnels too. Okay. Now, before I get started, there's some things that we need to kind of plan for when you build a funnel or a website, and that's what I've done here. I've got my first things I've done is I've decided what my brand colors are, and you can see I've got several brand colors here because I've got several different color elements on the page, and I want to make sure that I have those preset so that I can easily apply those colors to the elements on my page, right? So the first thing I've done is I've defined my brand colors. And then I've defined my typography with the headline font being Railway and my content font being Plus Jakarta Sands. And I have some custom values here. I've got a company logo, I've got my phone number, and this would be your ATP number. I've got the URL of my funnel here. I've got a privacy policy URL, SMS terms, and my terms of use URL. And then I have just a little bit of CSS here that controls the gradients of my text and my buttons, okay? So you just have to plan just a little bit ahead with your brand colors and your typography, and your custom values that you want to plug into your page, right, to auto load. So now that I have these defined, the first thing, I'll show you where to set your brand colors. And if I go to marketing over here, and brand boards is and this is pretty new. This was just released a couple of weeks ago. Brand boards is up here from marketing, the menu way over on the right. So let's go here, and you can see that I have my AI employee funnel brand board here, and you can create as many of these as you want. And you can see that I've set this as the default for this sub account. So if I created a new funnel, a brand new funnel from scratch right now in this sub account, these brand colors are going to be displayed inside the funnel builder or website builder for me to be able to apply to elements on my page. And as you can see here, you only have one default. And the default is the only set of brand color that you can see in your funnel page or your website page. So if I was building another funnel in this same sub account that had totally different colors, I would add a new brand board here like this. And I usually start from blank because I add my own logos and my own color schemes. And I would name this whatever I'm going to name it, right? New brand board, whatever, BB. And I would add my logo. I would click here, add all of my colors, and I would even add my typography here and then save the board, okay? And then what I could do then is if I wanted to use these colors in the funnel that I'm building in the same sub-account that has a totally different color scheme, I would just set this brand board as the default. So now when I'm in the website or funnel builder, I have those brand colors right there in the palette to be able to select and apply to my elements. So that's kind of how you need to do it, because as of right now, you can't create multiple brand boards and decide which brand board you want to display in which funnel or website. Hopefully that's coming soon. Wink, wink, dev team. So let's go back here. Yep. And let's go back into my AI employee brand board here. And you can see that I've uploaded my logo, and you can see my colors here. This is just a kind of a dashboard of your brand board, if you will. So you can upload, typically what I usually do is I upload a horizontal version of the logo and a vertical version of the logo. And then I add my colors here. And you can see that I've added these one by one, right? And if I want to add a new color, let's just say I want to add, I don't know, a new color. Looks like I've 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's interesting. So, okay, up to 10 colors are supported. So you can add up to 10 brand board colors, which is great because that's all I needed for my funnel here. And I guess, you might use like typically 3 or 4 brand colors, but because I've got a lot of elements and I for my a lot of elements that have different colors on my page, I needed to create more than just a few. So I've got quite a few in here. So again, I've set this as my default already. So now when I go to create a funnel in this sub account or a website, these are the brand colors that I'm going to see within my funnel or website. And just as a FYI, you need to turn brand boards on under labs. So if I go to settings in this specific sub account and then go to labs here, you can see that brand boards are in here somewhere, and I have them turned on. New color picker. Is that it? Maybe it's the new color picker. I thought it was a separate brand boards, but nope, that's it. So you have to turn on the new color picker for funnels and websites here. Okay, and that'll give you your brand boards. So let me go back. Now let's go to sites, and I'm going to go to my funnel that I already have, and I'm just going to create a new page in the funnel and start building from a blank page. So we can build. So you can watch me build this entire funnel here, which is pretty slick from scratch. So you guys will know how to do the same thing, right? So let me move text out of the way here. I'm going to move my browser over here so we can keep an eye on what we're actually building here, right? I guess I'll just move my face like over here somewhere. There we go. So this will be my guide for building, right? And you guys can see exactly what we're building as I go as well too. So this probably help you. So let's go. I'm just going to add a new step in the funnel, and I'm going to call it. Let's just call it. If I can type Masterclass FB for funnel build. Okay, create new funnel step. And it doesn't matter where this page is within my funnel. It only matters when I want to assign the URL to the funnel step. So in this case, I don't really care because I'm just kind of building this for you guys to show you how to do this. So I'm just going to create from blank right now. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is drag a section on the page here. And the first row we want to create is the row that's going to contain our logo at the top here, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, so I added a section. I'm sorry, I said row. Add a section. I'm going to add a one column row now, and then I'm going to add an image element here. And then what I'm going to do for the image, instead of selecting an actual image from my media gallery, I'm going to select my custom value for my logo and paste that in here. And that's like this, okay? And you can see it's really, really big, but that's just because it's an SVG, so it's going to try to fill up the space as much as it can. So I'm just going to give this a width of 75, and it's going to be nice and small for me, okay? Now, I'm going to select my section here, and you can see the background color. This is the little square here. This is where my brand colors are displayed now, right? So this is pretty cool. A lot easier to get to. Before, if you don't have if you don't have this turned on in Labs, you'll see all the little dots, which is okay too. But this just kind of makes it a little easier to get to the specific colors that you want to apply in the funnel, right? That reminds me of one thing with the brand boards. Now, typically what I do is when I create my templates or funnels that I want to reuse and with different colors, I will use custom values to control all of my colors, so that if I wanted to create a new funnel and clone a funnel that I already have and just rename it and use it for another client that has a totally different color scheme, all I've got to do is go into those custom values and change the colors on those custom values, and changes everywhere in that funnel or website. So you don't have to go into the funnel pages or website pages to change your colors. The custom values make that really easy. And I was hoping that brand boards would do the same. However, they don't right now. So if I was to go into my brand board where we just created where I just created them, and I change the blue color to a hot pink or something, and I come back to the funnel, it'll show my brand color hot pink, but it won't change any of the elements that I have this apply to in my funnel or website page. So I posted about this to the HighLevel Dev group, and I know that they said that it's coming soon, so it'll be a bonus when that happens. In the meantime, if you want to create and reuse funnels with different color schemes, use custom values to control your colors right now. It'll make things way easier for you. So hopefully we'll get the brand colors to be able to do that really soon. Okay. So I'm going to select this section here. I want to apply my dark gray. Yeah, I'm going to do my gray background color. And then I'm just I don't need the padding at the top. Just make this 0. And I really don't need the padding at the bottom, but I want to add just a little bit here, so it's easy to select this section if I need to later. Okay. And then what I want to do is I want to save this section as a global section, which means I can reuse this in all of my funnel pages. I can just insert this in my funnel pages. And if I have it on 10 funnel pages and I want to change this, I don't have to go to every 10 of the funnel pages to make this change. I can add a different logo in here. As long as it's placed on my page as a global section, it will make those changes everywhere, right? Which is freaking beautiful. So, but before you do that, you have to save it as a global section. So I'm just going to hover over and get my green section here. I'm going to click the little save icon here, the little disk. And I'm going to name this GS for global section, logo header 2, because I might already have one. And then I have to select the global sections item here. If I added this, if I save this as a template, when I drop this on a page every time, it's going to be independent of everything else. So it's not going to behave like a global section that will, if I make a change to it, it'll change everywhere. If I save this as a template and drop it on a page, it's always going to be independent. So wherever I have this template on the page, I've got to go in and change it if I wanted to, right? So let's select global section and save. Okay, and you can see when it's saved as a global section, the section turns this blue color or periwinkle, right? So that's just an indication that, and that's how you know that it's a global section. Now, let's do this. Before I get into building more sections, I think I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. I'm going to go into the typography, and let's set our fonts to, I think it's Roboto, yeah, or no, it's Railway for our headline font, and for the content font, it's Plush Jakarta Sands. Okay, and then the text color, I don't really care. We'll make it white because all of our backgrounds are white right now, or black. But I'm gonna color those anyway independently, and I'll make the link color as a default. Let's just make it white. Okay, and let's save that. And I'm gonna save my funnel here. So I lock in my global section here. If I was to create this global section and bounce out of the funnel and come back in, it's not going to save that global section. So just be aware of that, right? Okay, so we've got a global section for the logo at the top. So let's do this. Let's clone this section. And you can see when I clone it, it goes back to green, which is really cool, right? So now I can resave this as a template or a different global section. And in fact, what I want to do is I want to save this as a different global section. So let me pull this window over here, go all the way down at the bottom. And so we're just going to create this section at the bottom, and that's the consistent footer across all of our funnel pages, right? So you can see I already have the logo here. So all I've got to do is add a little paragraph of text down here. And I'm going to click the plus sign here and select paragraph. And since I made the default text color white, it's going to add it as white instead of black, which is great since I'm working on a dark black, and I can actually see it when it's added, which is nice. So I'm just going to add just a little spacing under. I'll do it on the top. I'm going to add a little margin at the top of my paragraph element in pixels. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my face out of the way. I'm just going to copy and paste from the page over here, which it's so I can save time and you guys won't have to watch me spend hours typing. So let's do this. I'm going to fix this. Privacy policy, terms of use, SMS terms of use. The thing I'll say about these three things: privacy policy, terms of use, and SMS terms of use. If you're working with a new sub account and you want to get ATP verified quickly, if you have these three pages and links to them within your funnel before you apply to get ATP verified for sending text messages, it will go a lot faster since you have links to these pages, especially the SMS terms of use, since ATP has to do with texting, right? So, but I found that when I have these three pages added in my funnel, and I have an actual URL assigned to my funnel, when I go through the ATP verification process, I get verified in 24 to 48 hours every time. So, and I have some good scripts for the ATP verifications too. So if you need help with that or need some good scripts to get verified fast, just reach out to me and I'll get you those. So, okay. So now that I've added these, I'm going to add some links. So I don't know what my links are. If I was creating a new funnel and this is the first page I've added and I haven't added the other pages yet, and I haven't assigned it a domain, I don't know what these links are going to be. So for that reason, I use custom values, right? So in this case, my custom value for my privacy policy URL is this link, but I actually need the custom value in here to paste as the link, which will pick up from whatever link I populate that value with, right? So let's do this. Let's save this. I probably should have done the custom values first, but that's okay. I'm going to go over to my settings. I'm going to go to my custom values, and I'm going to go to my folders. I actually created folders. The addition of a folder feature was added, I don't know, if, not long ago, but it really makes things easier to keep your custom values organized in different buckets. So all I did before I recorded this session was I created my folder here to hold the custom values that I want to add for this training. So, and you can see that I've added my AI employee funnel URL, my company logo, my phone number, which is my A2P number, my privacy policy, SMS terms, and terms of use URLs as well. So in this case, I want my privacy policy custom value. So let's go over here. I'm going to paste this right there. Let's grab my SMS terms of use, copy this one there, and then let's grab the terms of use. Okay, I've got that copied. Blam. And again, if you want to add a new custom value here, all you got to do is I like to go into the funnel first where I want the custom values to be added, because like the worst is like when you've got to add like 10 custom values and you forget to add them to a specific folder, you've got to go to each custom value and do this. Like if I go all values here, you can see this one is not in a folder. You can see the folders are indicated here. So if I wanted to add this to a folder, and if I had like 10 or any number of custom values that I wanted to add into a folder after I created them, I'd have to go into each one, click the 3 dots, move to folder, and select the folder and then move it. So it's not hard, but it certainly takes time, right? So I like to create my folders first and then click and open the folder that I want to add my custom values into. So when I create new custom value here and enter the name and my value, you can see that my folder is grayed out because I'm already in this folder. So it's going to add it to that folder. Okay. So this is where you would name your custom value, and this is where you would paste the value of it in there, whether it's a URL, whether it's a URL to a page, whether it's your phone number, whether it's your, like my company logo here, it could be the URL to the actual image that's going to be displayed via your company logo custom value, right? And as long as I'm on that topic, I'll show you, in case you don't know, the easy way to assign the URL for your company logo. So let's go back to the back button here, and I'm going to go over to media storage, and I'm going to go to my employee folder. And again, the media storage we're able to add folders now, which is really cool too, to keep things organized. So my AI employee folder, all I did was I went to this image right here. I selected the 3 dots, and then I clicked on Get Link. So this will give me the link to my image. If I do that and I open a new tab and paste in here, you'll see that there's my image, right? So I know I've got the right one. So I've got that link. And so then all I would do is go over to settings and go to my custom values, go to the folder, employee value, the funnel folder, and then go to my company logo here, select the 3 dots, click edit, and then just paste that in there. And that's all I've done here, right? Okay. And you can upload PDFs. You can upload any kind of any files that you want to use as your values. Okay. Now let's go back to let's see what else. Let me see if there's anything else I can do out here before we get back into the funnel. Colors, typography, custom values, and nope, that's pretty much it. Okay. So I've got all my custom values set for the things I want to add to my funnel dynamically, right? So let's go back now. Move my face out of the way. Okay, let's go back to sites. Let's go to my funnel. I know it's on page 2. I've got quite a few funnels here. This is my Masterclass FB page. Let's go there. Okay, so I'm going to edit now. Go back into the page. And let's move this stuff out of the way. Okay, and the next thing I'm going to do before I do any more is I'm going to copy the CSS, the basic CSS I have here. Let me copy this, and I'm going to go over here into my custom CSS, and I'm just going to paste my CSS in here, and I'm just going to explain what the CSS does. It's really simple. For any text or headlines that are indicated as H1s, H2s, H3s, H4s, or H5s, it's going to apply this gradient that you see over here. It's going to apply this gradient from top to bottom right with these 3 colors, right, to my text elements. That's really all this is doing here, right? And then this next CSS, this is just one attribute here. This controls the look and feel of my buttons on the page. And if you if you assign this to all the buttons in here instead of specific sections, you will get all of your buttons in the editor changing colors too, which you really don't want because it kind of gets muddy and weird in your editor. So what I did was I specified all of the buttons in each section here to be colored with this specific gradient. Okay, so that's the only two CSS styles that I'm using. What I like to do when I build funnels and websites for clients that I know will be coming back into edit, I want to make things as easy as possible for them. And especially if I know that they don't know how to code and they don't know much about HTML and CSS, I don't want to give them a lot of CSS to mess with. I want to make things as easy as possible out of the box for them to change and edit within the editor. So in a lot of my funnels, I don't use a lot of CSS. I might use, a few styles for buttons and maybe drop shadows and things like that. Although we don't need to use the drop shadows, use CSS for drop shadows anymore, since we have this other feature called box shadow. We can use that in the editor, but I don't use, I try not to use any extra custom CSS at all in my funnels, or as little as possible, because I want to make it as easy as possible for my clients to be able to use, right? So, okay, so let's move on now to building this funnel out. Okay, so now let's apply the links that I've now created or copied from my custom values. So I'm going to highlight the privacy policy here and select the link. I'm going to go off screen here and grab my privacy policy custom value and paste it in there. Bam. And then I'm going to grab my terms of use, select my link, and I'm going to grab that custom value and paste it there. And then I'm going to grab the SMS terms of use and do the same with it. Grab my custom value and paste it in there. Okay. And now you can see that these are links. When I hover, you can tell they're links, right? And so the last thing I want to do with this is I want to save this as a footer global section, right? So I'm going to hover over and get my green again. Where's my green? Let's see how I can do this. Okay, well, let's do this. I can select the column here, and I can add some padding, at least one side for now. I'll do it on the left side too. Maybe it's just my window here. There we go. Yeah, okay. So let's go back here. Let's just remove that padding that I just added for no reason at all. Select my section here, and I'm going to save this. I'm going to name it again, put a GS in front of it. And I'm going to name this logo footer 2 in case I have another one. I don't remember. And select global section and save. And the reason I add GS in front of this is because when you have a page built and you want to add more sections and you want to understand exactly which one you need to add, that's why I name them over here. When I click on global sections, you'll see all of my GS global sections here. If I have templates in here, I usually name them ST or something else, like I do the GS on the front, just so I know that which is a global section and which is a global template, or not a global template, a template section. Sorry. So, okay, so I've saved that now. I'm going to save my document. Okay, so let's stretch my page back over here. And let's see what we're going to do next. Okay, so let's do this top section next. I think I can get everything in this whole top section just fine. I don't really need a separate hero section here. So what we need to do is add another section in the middle, full width, boom, right here. And we're going to color this with the same background gray color. And we're going to add, I'm going to move this over here a little bit. Yeah. I'm going to add a one column row again, and then I'm going to add a paragraph element. And I'm going to cheat and just copy and paste over here, guys. So that's okay. So I'm going to paste this in here, and you can see that it's lowercase and upper, but what I can do is go into advanced. Actually, let me get the line breaks out of there. I'm going to go to advanced, and I'm going to go to text transform and select all uppercase. There we go. This should be this headline font. I think it's a content font, but let's make it the headline font. And then what I also want to do is I'm going to create letter spacing of 3 pixels. Okay. And then let's just bold that up there. Okay. So that's kind of the top one here. It's a little bit smaller right now, but we can bump that up a little bit. It's probably 18. Yeah, it looks better. Okay, that looks better. Now let's do the 297 here. So I'm going to click the plus sign under the paragraph element, and I'm going to add a headline element. Boom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the paragraph element and I'm going to add some margin underneath. Let's do 20 pixels just to space that out a little bit. And then I'm going to grab this just 297 and paste it in here. And now you can see that when I highlight the text here, this is an H4. And you can see when I select the drop down for H4 here, where did my custom CSS go? I thought I pasted it in there, but let's do it again. Maybe I didn't save last time. Okay, so I want my H1s through H5s to retain this this blue to green gradient here. So let me save this. Okay, there we go. So now if I highlight this now, so you can see in the drop down, all of my H1s through H5s will have the background gradient here. But if I wanted to add text headline element that doesn't have a gradient, I'd add it as in heading 6 and then make it whatever type size I want, right? So in this case, just 297, I don't want that to be the H1 tag because the H1 tag is the most important tag in terms of SEO for your page, and you should only have one per page. So in this case, just 297, that's not really saying anything, and it's not important for SEO. So I'm just going to make it a heading 4. And then I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to bump the size up to maybe 58. And then for the mobile view right here, well, you know, let's not worry about mobile view right now. We'll adjust that after. Okay. So, okay, so we got our 297. And I wanted to do two things here. When I click on the logo header, you can see that because I've saved this as a global section, it retains the name that I've named the global section, which is great. So when I go, if I ever go into my page and I have like tons and tons of sections and I want to move stuff around or change things, if I go into the layers here in my page, I can see all of the sections and all of the elements within my sections here on my page. And sometimes when you have a long page and you have a lot of sections and a lot of elements, you want to know at a glance what you want to move where. See, I can grab one of these and you know, I can move it wherever I want it. So it really helps to name your sections and elements and rows and columns, everything exactly what they are in terms of like being able to find them and keep your page really organized. So, and you can see like the elements that I haven't saved, they're like the columns, they're added as a one row column, as a section, as a, let's see what else we got. One column row, first column. So you can see they're just generic based on what the elements are. But again, it really helps to name these separately, uniquely when you're creating your page. So I'm going to go in up to this section, at least at the section level, right? So I'm just going to name this 297 section. Okay. And then this footer section will be named the GS logo footer. That is like exactly how we saved it. All right. So for now, I'm just going to worry. Let's just, you know, name the section. So at least we have the main sections in order of the page names. So if we ever have to move them, we can, you know which ones are which in the layers palette, or certainly we can just move them, you know, from here on the page. So anyway, let's help us stay organized. Okay. So now we're going to add this regular price $5.97 here. Let's grab this copy. I'm going to just duplicate. Actually, I'm just going to add a new paragraph here. Blam. I'm going to paste this in there. I want some more padding. So I'm going to add another 20 pixels below the 297. Regular price 297. So then we're going to color this. I'm going to select my colors here and add the text gray color to it. And I'm going to make this way bigger. So let's go 22 maybe. 22 point. Okay, that looks fine. And actually, you know what? Now that I see the padding in between here, it's just too much. I'm just going to remove this padding altogether. There we go. So this regular price should be tight to the main callout price. Now we need our main headline here. This one over here. So now let's just go. I'm going to just duplicate this headline. I could add a new one, but if I've got one on the page already that's, you know, styled the way I want it, I'm just going to clone it and reuse it, right? So I'm going to select the button here, this icon. That's the clone icon. And I'm going to hover over the one I just moved down. And I'm just going to select the down arrow and move it down there. See how I did that? So you can move your elements up and down on your page, just like that with the arrows. And so that's all I'm doing to move this below the regular price. Okay. So now what I want to do though is I definitely want some space underneath between the regular price line and in this other element. So before I do that, I'm going to paste my copy in here. And this one, I would say my employee snapshot will help you get more booked. I would say that this is a good candidate for an H1 for the most important tag on the page, let's call it. So I'm just going to, I'll just set it as an H1. Okay, there's the H1. Boom. Okay. Now I'm going to create a little spacing in here. So I'm going to select my regular price paragraph element, and I'm going to add 20 pixels under there. I think, I don't know, I think I'm going to do 40 pixels just to give it a lot more breathing room. Okay. All right, there's our text. Let's go up here and save. And then we're going to do this line next. So it looks pretty similar to the regular price line. So I'm just going to copy, I'm going to clone the regular price line, and then I'm going to hover over it. And I can either move it down with the arrows, or another way I can move things is I can grab the little icon here with the 4 arrows, and I can drag it down here. How cool, right? And then what I want to do is I want to add some margin above this regular price line again. Let's do 40 pixels, and let's copy and paste in here. Boom. There we go. Nice. Even if you haven't done, okay, great. So that's looking pretty good, right? So now the next thing we need to do is add this image in here that I've created. I'm a Photoshop user, so I create a lot of stuff in Photoshop. So I save this JPEG to add to the page, and it actually serves as my my YouTube thumbnail as well. So pretty cool. So let's go and add this. I'm just going to click the plus sign underneath this element, this paragraph element, and this is going to be an image. Blam. And then I'm going to click on the image element and come over here to my image, and in my AI employee folder, and I'm going to select my image here. Double click this, and it'll bring it right in there nicely. Okay. And then as a default, you see when you add images, you see this padding. There's 10 pixels of padding all the way around the image. Sometimes that's a good thing, but most of the time I don't want the extra padding in there, so I can control things better down to the pixel. So I'm going to go over here to the margin and padding palette, and I'm just going to remove this padding all the way around by clicking the bottom one first and selecting 0, then clicking the right one, 0, the left one, 0, and then the top one, 0. Okay, boom. And I think the padding is pretty decent here, so I think we're good to go right now for that. The last couple things I'm going to add to this top section here, and let's call this, I named it a 297 section. That's fine. We'll leave it like that. We need to add a button, and then this image of the credit cards down here at the bottom. So I'm going to select the plus sign here underneath my image and add a button. Bam, right there. Okay. Now before I do anything else, I'm going to select my image again, and let's add a bunch of padding or a bunch of margin underneath this to separate, gives that button some breathing room. Let's do 60 pixels. That looks great. Okay. Now let's go. I'm going to copy some text over here. I'm going to select my button. I'm going to paste that into the button. I think the subtext of the button I can paste in here. Boom. Then I want to make my button. Let's do this. Let's make it, let's give it a 700 bold heaviness. And it's a headline font, which is what I want for my buttons. And then I also want to give it some rounded corners. See the nice rounded corners over here? Button as a default, when you place it on a page, is going to be square corners. So in order to change your corners to rounded corners, you need to come over here to advanced. And I'm going to come down here to border, and I'm going to select full border. And I'm going to make the border radius, is it 10 pixels? Yeah, 10. We could do 5. I'll do 5 pixels, so it's not so vast. And then when I select the border pixel as 1, and then an interesting thing you can do here in the editor. I'm going to make my border pixel 10 pixels so we can actually see it right now, right? See the border that we just placed around there? Well, and that's when we have the full border selected here. But if we want to have the border retain the rounded corners that we just applied here, but not actually show a border, all we have to do after we set the border radius here of 5 pixels, all we have to do to maintain that on the button is select no border here. Okay, so you would think that selecting no border would turn off the radius too, but that's not the case. So that will turning on the border first and defining what border we want will add the border radius, but then we can hide that border by selecting no border, which is kind of cool. Okay, so there's our button. Now what I want to do here, add one more image here, which is the little image of the credit cards down here. So let's click the plus button here and select another image. And let's go over here to my folder and let's find that image. I don't have the image in here. Okay, so must have it somewhere else. Must have it in another folder. Let's do perhaps in this one. Let's just have a quick look. If not, we've got another way to get it in here. Okay, not there. So this is fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my page over here. I'm going to right click on this image and save as. And let's just save it as CC image. CC image. Boom. Okay. Now I'm going to come over here into my AI and Play folder, and I'm just going to upload this image. So let's go find this. Blam. Blam. There's my image. Double click it. Place it in there. And now let's place a width on there so it's not so big. Maybe 300 pixels. I don't think that's a little big. Let's do, yeah, 250 pixels. That's pretty good. And then we want to add some margin at the top of this. So let's go add 40 or maybe 20 pixels of margin. So it's right underneath the button. Okay, great. All right, I'm going to save my page. So now what we want to do is, you're wondering about the color of the button most likely. So how do we apply this gradient to the button here? So first thing I'm going to do is click on my section that this button is inside of. Click on that section. I'm going to go to Advanced, and I'm going to go here, CSS Selector, and I'm going to copy this CSS selector. Copy. Now I'm going to go up to my custom CSS, and if you recall, I had these sections in here copied. This is the CSS from my existing page over here that already works. So because this is a new page that I've created, the section IDs are going to be totally different. So all I've got to do is grab this section ID here that I just copied that contains the button, and paste it in here. Blam. Okay, so this is our first one. We're going to have to do this as we go to the other sections as well as here in here to make sure the other buttons in these other sections retain this gradient. But you can see here when I save, you're going to see the gradient is applied to the button here because it's inside this section, and we've defined that in the CSS. We're saying when this button inside of this section, right? So any button inside of this specific section is going to retain these attributes with the gradients, okay? So that's all this CSS does, very simple. Okay, so this top section is done. Let's save. Looking good so far. Got a ways to go, don't we? Okay, so now let's go. The next section is this we'll call it the FOMO section, right? So let's do this. I'm going to, instead of starting from scratch, I'll just create a new section. Let's create a new section and drag it down here on the page under this one. Blam. Let's give it a background color of our background gray, which is not quite black. And then we want this headline element, we want to drop that in here. So first of all, I need to create, this looks like a single column, right? So we're going to add a row here that's a single column row. And then I'm going to clone my headline up here. Clone. And I'm going to drag this one down. I drag it down to the middle. It's going to drag it right down into my new column here, my new row. Okay. Now I can copy, I can paste this in here. And then what I can do, because I don't want another H1, if you remember, oh, it's already an H2O, great. Okay, so what it's doing is, which is really cool, I've got my H tags defined on my live page over here. So it's retaining the H tags that I've already applied to it, which is pretty cool. So I don't have to do that when I paste it in here. Nice high level. And then now I want this piece of gray text right here. So let's copy over here. I'm going to just clone this one up here, and I'm going to bring this down there, blam, and I'm going to paste this in. And let's just see, I forgot to check our line spacing here. If I select the header element here and go to advanced, I can see my line spacing is 1.3, or my line height is 1.3. I can certainly change this. I'm going to just make this 5.0 so you can see what this does. You can see it creates a lot of space in between the height of your lines. So I like 1.3 is actually pretty good. It's really readable. Okay, so let's leave it like that. So now, okay, so we're building this section here. So now we need 3 rows of text with the little rounded corner backdrop behind them, right? Okay, and that's pretty easy to do. So what we're going to do, and we have to create, and here we have to add, I have to add another row, which is a 1-column row, right down here. Okay, so now what I want to do is this row that I've just added, I want to create rounded corners on this row. So let's go over to advanced. Let's do a full border, and let's do a border radius of 5 pixels. I don't want the border to show, so I'm just going to turn off the border. Now I'm going to come up to general. I'm going to change the background color to, actually I have, the background color for these is a little bit different than all of my colors in my, that I have my brand colors. So what we can do is we can go to default colors, and then we can go to custom colors, and we can add custom colors here. And I think this one is added, I think it's this one. Right. This is just like barely, it's almost black. It's almost not white. If you can see, it's the white is the very top corner here, and you can see 255, 255, 255 is, and 0.2 is just almost not white, right? So it's just going to show a little bit like it does over here on the page on top of the black, almost like a semi-transparency. So I'm going to cancel this, but I'm going to select that color for the background, this row. So now if I go, it's kind of hard to see. It's really faint right now, but because I've got the borders showing when I select the items or the elements, I can't make that go away right now, but we'll see it in a minute. Okay, so now we want to add this item here, right? Struggle with. I think that's a bullet item, because if we do it as text, let me show you the difference. I'll do it as a paragraph and paste that in here. And then this is like a bullet. Let's go to my icon here. I can select an icon to show in front of this. Select the plus. Do which one it is or what it's called. Let's try bullet. No, circle. There we go. It's one. There we go. It's a plus sign right there. Plus circle. Okay. Let's see what I wanted to show you how this handles it. Let me go. I'm going to increase the size with this really big for a minute. 30 point. And I want to make it left justified. There we go. This is what I wanted to show. So when you use a paragraph element with an icon here, it's gonna if the text is big that wraps to the second line, it's not going to have this indent because this hasn't been added as a bullet. When we add this item as a bullet, it's going to retain the indents here that you see over here, right? Or at least on this one. So what we need to do is I'm going to copy this text. I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to add bullet list right here. I'm going to paste this in here. Then we're going to go and select the icon again. It's the plus circle here. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the icon color under the color palette, color options, to this little orange icon, which is right here. This is my light sepia. Blam. Okay. So there's our orange icon, bullet icon. And now if I increase the size of this, you'll see when it wraps, 36. You see, it retains the indent to the text, which is nice, right? So that's why I do these things like this as elements like this as a bullet element instead of paragraph text or another headline. Okay, so now let's make this 20 point, 20, 22. And then we'll make the color of this text on my text gray, okay? And now I think you can see behind there, yeah, we can see the subtle background behind this element, which I think is pretty cool, just like we've got them over here, right? So now what I want to do is I need to create two more. So instead of starting from scratch every time, because I already have this one created, all I need to do is clone this column, blam, and I'm going to clone it a third time. So I clone that 3 times, and then I'm just going to select the text here, copy and paste over here. There we go. Make sure I don't have any extra line breaks in there when I copy and paste. Actually, that's the third one, so that's okay. I'm going to grab this one. I'm just going to, because this should be the third one in line, I'm just going to move this one. I'm going to hover over the bottom one here, the blue, and I'm going to click my up arrow, and it's going to move it up. And then I'm going to paste my second one. There's my second bullet. So now you can see in the editor that these, well, it's kind of hard to see. Let me do this background color. Let's just make them red so we can see this red. And then let's make this one. Let's just do this one as a purple since it wants to give me purple. So you can see that within the editor, it looks like these are butting up against each other, right? And so when I click on the column row here, you can see that there's no space there's no margin underneath. And if I also click on the first column, the column row here, there's no margin underneath either. So what we want to do is we want to create some margin in between these rows, right? So the easiest way to do that is to select the top one and add some margin here of, let's just do it 20 pixels. And then we'll do the same with this bottom one, make this 20 pixels. And in this one, we really don't need to do it at all, but I'm going to do it just to make sure it's consistent. And then what I also want to do is, if you look at the column row here, if I click on this, we want to make sure there's no margin above, so we get this nice spacing, especially on mobile. So this is how I did that. I just created some margin underneath each one of these, right? But not on top, because it's going to add extra, right? We don't want to do that. So let me now go back and change the colors of this, since we can see them now. Custom to this one, and this one, and one more. Blam, blam, blam. Okay, great. So now we're doing pretty good here. Doing pretty good. Let me go ahead and save. Now we want to put one little text block underneath here, and it's similar to this one. So let's go clone this, and I'm going to attempt to move it down here, and there we go. And I'm going to put some, oh, it looks like I dropped it inside the column already. And yeah, it looks like I dropped it inside this rounded column. And you can see that. So I'm just going to grab it and move it farther down the page. But you can see now what it's doing is it's adding it to my footer. And that's because I don't have another row to add it into underneath my columns, or underneath my rows here. So what I need to do is come here up and add a new row. So I'm going to grab a one column row and add it way down below this third column with the rounded corners. And now I can grab this element and move it up into there. Blam. Okay, and now what I can do is I can eliminate some of the padding and spacing. What do I have here? On this element, this paragraph element, I've got 40 top and bottom. So let's just zero that out, top and bottom. Okay, so that should do for now. Let's click save. Okay, let's continue. Now we're going to make a new section here, and we'll call it easy, right? The easy section. Looks like I didn't move. Oh, did I miss something? Let's go here. Oh yeah, looks like I added this row into the footer, into the global footer, but I don't want to do that. I want to add it above the global footer. So I'm just going to go and grab it here and move it up. There we go. And you see the section move down. So now you can see it's in this top section and not in the global footer section, which is great. Exactly where I want it. Okay. Okay. Let's save again. All right. So now let's add a new section. I think what I'm going to do. Yeah, I'm going to clone this section now. And actually I'm going to go back up here and name this the FOMO section. So I know which one this is. FOMO section. Great. Okay. So now let's go to the one I just cloned, and let's name this the easy section. Okay. Easy section. Now I'm going to grab this headline and I'm going to paste it on here, and this should be like an H2. Yep, that's an H2. Great. I'm going to grab this text here, copy, paste right there. Okay. Now let's create these two column rows here. All right. And I already have some rows here. I'm just going to delete these bottom two right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to clone this paragraph. I'll just clone this one actually. Doesn't matter. And I'm going to drag it down into this column right here. And then I'm going to delete my bullet because I don't need a bullet in here. I want to create an image. I want to create a little headline element, and I want to add some text. So let's get rid of the bullet. So this is the text. Let's go and copy the text here. Boom, and let's left justify it. Okay, and now I want to add this heading here. So let's clone this one. This is going to be funky at first. Actually, let's do this. Let's make it smaller right here so it's easier to deal with when we drag it. Now I'm going to grab it and I'm going to move it down into this column. And then let's see, are we in the column? Yep, we're good. So now I'm going to click on this. I'm going to left justify it. And there's a lot of space under it, so I need to, must be on the top. I thought there was some space under this element, some margin, but it must be padding or margin above the paragraph element. So let's grab that. Yep, see there's 40 pixels there. I'm going to zero that out. All right. Well, actually, let's select the headline element that I just pasted in there. Let's grab and copy and paste. There we go. And let's add some margin of like 10 pixels underneath this. Okay, great. All right, that's looking good. And now I need to add an image above this little cog image, right? So let's go do that. I'm just going to add a plus sign here. It's going to add it below this image, and we just need to move it up when we add it. So I'm going to click the plus sign. I'm going to select image. And I'm going to come over here and go into my folder and select the image that I've already uploaded. If you don't have them uploaded yet, you would just use the upload function like we did earlier. That would be, let's see, where would that image be? All right, I don't have it uploaded in this place yet, so let's go find it. Snapshot PNG. Let's do this. I'm going to have to look. Let's go here, and I can view by, I want my Finder. There we go. I just closed it, didn't I? Let's go TWorks AI. Let's go employee. Let's look via icon, and let's find this image. Okay, I don't have it saved in here, so we'll just do the same thing. We'll just right click on it over here on this page and save it as, I'm just going to name it cog icon. There we go. Jeez. Okay, so now let's go back to our page and let's grab the cog icon WEP, upload that, and select that. All right. Now we just need to size it down and left justify it. So that's left justified. Let's size it down to, what is it, 24 pixels? No, it's bigger than that. Let's do 36. Maybe 75. I'll try 60. I think 60 is about right. Okay, and then I'm going to move this up. Bam. So now we got it above our little headline there, and I want to add some padding a little bit just below it, about 10 pixels of padding. Okay, and now when I see my row here, there's a lot of space at the bottom, more so than at the top. So that's either applied via the paragraph element. Yep, it's 40 pixels on the paragraph element. So let's get rid of that. Bam. Okay. So we've got no padding around our elements, except the 10 pixels at the top of the image element. I'm going to remove that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to clone this column to create my second column in this row. But before I do that, I'm going to set some width in here inside the actual column and not the row. So the column is this little purple. When you move your mouse, you can select, there's the blue is the column or the row, and the pink is the column. So I want to select this, and I want to create some padding in here. Let's do it 10 pixels on left and right within this column. Maybe 20. Let's do 20. There we go. Okay, that looks pretty good. And let's do 20 on the top too. Just so we've got like even padding all the way around. Okay. And then our image here looks a little bit to the right, so it's not in alignment with our heading in our paragraph. So we just need to select the image element here and remove the padding on the left side of it, which is right here. So I'm going to select this and select 0. There we go. So now everything's in alignment over here. So now I've got this almost where I need it. I want to increase the type size of this to maybe, 36. This is our heading. Might be a bit big, but we'll find out. And then our text over here, let's make this 18 point. Okay, so now I want to create my second column, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to not select the row, but select the column in here, and I'm going to clone by selecting this icon right here. So it's going to create a second column for me. Bam. Okay, so there's our second column. And now what I've noticed is color, if you can see here, the color of this column goes all the way, or this row goes all the way. There's no separation in between these two columns like we have over here. So guess what? We need to add the row in the background color to the column instead of the actual row element like I've done it. Okay, so all we need to do is select our row here in blue. I'm going to go back over to advanced. Actually, I'm just going to come into the background color and select transparent. So now we don't have any color back there whatsoever, right? So we have to add the color to the individual columns inside the row. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this first column by hovering and getting my pink area here. Bam. So I've got this selected. Now I can change my background color to the custom color that we had, is this one. It's just barely white, like that. And then also what we need to do is when I add this color, you'll see it's hard to see, but it's square because I haven't rounded the corners on this column. I rounded the corners on the row, but not the column. So the rounded corners have to be added here as well. We don't need them on the column anymore since the column's invisible now, right? So, or the row is invisible. So I'm going to select my column here and go back over to advanced and make sure that I've got a full border and my border radius is 5 pixels here. And then I'm going to turn off the border and say no border. So that's going to show me my 5 pixel border radius there, my 5 pixel radius border there. It's hard for you to see, but it works. So now what I'm going to do is, instead of selecting this column, going over to the border and applying the border like I just did, I'm just going to delete this column and I'm just going to clone the one that I just created. Okay. So now, again, you don't see any separation in here, but that's because we need to add some margin in between each of these columns. And it's easy to do using the margin and padding editor over here. So I'm just going to select this first column. And for margin, I'm going to give it 20 pixels on the right side of it. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this column over here. I'm going to select this column, but I'm going to add the margin to the left side, so it adds it on this side. If I add it on the right side, it would add it on the right way over here, which we don't want. We want more space in the middle. So because I've added padding on this one on the left column on the right side, I need to add padding on the left column on the left side of the right column. Okay, so that looks like a lot maybe, but that's okay. So I like a lot of separation. I like a lot of breathing room with my elements on the page. So, and as a matter of fact, I think I want more padding on the inside here. So I'm going to create, what if we did 40? I'm going to do 30 pixels of padding on the left and right, and the top and bottom actually. 30, just to space things out and let them breathe. Yeah, that looks much better now. There's like some more breathing room around there. So now what I need to do is I'm just going to do the same thing over here. Make these 30. Here, 30.30. And if you notice, there's sliders here, but it's sometimes it's difficult to get the exact number that you want. So I tend to just type them in here just to save time. Okay, so now that we've got our two columns over here, we need to change some text, right? So let's grab this one over here and copy and paste. Come here. There we go. Grab this text, copy and paste. And then just like I did up here, I'm gonna clone this row, right? If I clone this row, it's gonna give me a second version of this with 2 more columns down here, right? And the padding already assigned there. So because I've added it already to the bottom, 20 pixels margin to the row, right? So now I just need to copy and paste some more, and then I need to replace a couple of icons. Paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. Looks like I got a couple of extra lines in these though. There we go. And the icons, okay, let's just, I don't know that I have this icon either. I'm just going to right click and save as funnel icon. Bam. And then go up and select this icon. I'm going to change this one out by selecting a different one. I need to upload the funnel icon here that I just saved or created. And select that. There we go. Okay, now I need the custom values, and I think I have these two icons already, so I'm just going to go and click on these. I don't think I remember seeing them. This one looks like the code icon. There we go. And then this one is the circle with the arrows. There it is right there. Okay, now we need to duplicate the row again so we can get this, we can create this third one here. Duplicate this row, and now we can copy and paste. I think I'm missing a period there. Copy. If you're still with me, I think we're doing good. Paste. Now let's go grab these icons, replace these icons. I think I have these two as well already. This is the kind of the person icon, and this is the kind of looks like a Band-Aid icon. Here. Right here. Okay, if you notice something, you know, the information here, they don't look aligned, right? So let me grab this to show you a straight edge. So this stuff isn't aligning in here, right? And the reason is the alignment of our columns, I didn't set those to left aligned. So if I click on a column up here, you can see that the default alignment is going to be center. This is the vertical spacing. So if I select left, it's going to work off of the top left corner. Okay, and that one didn't move, and this one won't move either because the spacing is the same for the lines and everything. But it looks like this one's going to move. So I'm going to change this one to left and change this one to left now. Okay, you see how that's shifted up? Because it was center before, that means it's centering vertically within this column. So if this column were to get much taller, I'll show you. Well, let me do this. I'm just going to clone this a few times. You can see that the content is going to be aligned vertically in the center of this column. And we want it to align vertically to the left of the column, meaning top left. So like this one is doing here. So if I added more items in here, you can see it's going to be anchored to the top left as long as the alignment, the content spacing is set for left. It just means it's left, top left aligned, right? So I'm going to delete these other ones that I have in here. Blam, 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 blam. And make sure my content spacing here is also left. So now this content is aligning perfectly. And then the same for these. Let's make these left. Blam, blam, left. Okay. Now I've got one more row to add here, so I'm just going to clone this one. And this is a single column. I don't need the second column here. So I'm just going to delete this column by hovering over the pink area. I don't want to delete the blue because that's going to delete the whole row. I want to delete the column over here. So I'm just going to hover over the pink and hit the delete icon there. And there we go. So I'm going to click the lifetime updates here. I'm going to copy and paste and grab this. Copy and paste. Okay, now we just need to replace an icon, and I'm pretty sure we have this one too. There's our plus icon right there. Okay, and these icons, I just created these in Photoshop. You can see they've got this rounded corner, almost like a semi-transparency. It's almost, again, almost white, barely white, with some little blur and haziness behind the icon. So kind of cool. Okay, so let's save. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. So now we want to do this next section, and let's call this the what you get section. Okay, what you get. Okay, that's our easy section. Let's just create a new section here. Let me see if this has rounded corners. Yeah, this says rounded corners. Okay. And you can see that like this row here, it's a 2-column row with rounded corners, but this one there's no separation in the middle. So this one will actually apply that rounded corner background to the row instead of the individual columns like I did on these two elements here. Okay. So let's go and let's just add a new, let's just add a new one. New section. I'll pull it down here. Bam. And this is going to be our, oh, not there, in the front. Or what you got section. I like initial caps, so I'm going to make initial caps here. Okay. And now I'm going to make this color, the background, black for a minute. So it's a little bit different than above, so I know which one I'm working with when I'm clicking and dragging, because I'm going to drag some stuff here. So I'm going to create a 2-column row here. So I'm going to select I'm going to select the add row button here, and I'm going to select the 2-column by clicking, and it's going to add a 2-column row in there. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to add some elements here, and it looks like this column is centered, which is great. So I'm going to add, let's just clone this paragraph element right here and drag that in here. And then we're going to do, let's see what it is. And make sure let's do the spacing as 3 pixels, kind of like we had up top. And we're going to make the color white, and I'm going to bold it. There we go. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. And before I go further, I'm going to do what I did up here. Is I'm going to make, actually, I think the vertical spacing here, I think these are both centered, even though they look like they're pretty aligned. But yeah, let's make them left aligned, or left vertically spaced. So top left anchor, and then same with this one, top left. Okay, that's all all the left means, top left instead of centered right, or centered in the middle vertically. If we selected right, that they would be anchored to the bottom, right? So a little bit weird, but we can deal with it. Let's grab this headline. Let's come down here and drag it, and let's center it. And let's just copy and paste here. Copy, paste. Let's grab some more text here. Let's drag it. And let's copy and paste. Okay. And then we want to add an image here, this account snapshot image that I created. Let's click the plus, select image, come over here, go into our folder, and select our image. Double click. There we go. There's our image. All right. Let's create some padding in between this text and the image. So let's add some margin of about 40 pixels here. Let's do 30 actually. All right, and let's make this text 18 point, so it's not too big. Okay, I'm going to stretch this out a little bit now. So now let's create this column over here on the right. Let's make sure this is content is left aligned. It is, or top left aligned. And so let's clone this headline element, drag it over. This information over here in this column is left aligned, so we need to change the left alignment here. Now we need to add some more bullets. So let's grab this whole text here and copy. I'm going to click the plus sign here, and I'm going to select the bullet list, and I'm just going to paste, and I'm going to change the line spacing to 1.3 so it matches. Okay, and then we need to change a couple things here. We need to remove the padding on the left side to 0, and then we need to change the icons. The default icon is this little check mark. If I search for check, it'll show me the circle one, which is there, and then I'm going to change the icon color to our bullet green. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Now let's add some text underneath here. Right here, let's left align this, and this is the regular price line. Boom, we've got another heading here, so let's clone and drag this down. We're going to copy and paste. Boom. Now we're going to add another button. So instead of adding a button and reconfiguring the button from scratch again, I'm just going to come up here and I'm going to clone the one we already have and drag it down. Okay, save us some time. Grab, and now I'm going to pull this down, and I'm going to stop someplace down in the middle here, like above the browser bar. It's just, there's a little sweet spot there where you can like stop, and it'll continue like down the page like this. So you just got to find where that sweet spot is. So I'm going to select the button. I'm going to left align it, and let's see, the text is fine. You notice when I dragged it down, it didn't retain the gradient. And you remember, we just have to assign this section to the CSS code for this button to retain that kind of sepia gradient. So I'm going to go over to advanced after I select this section, the, what is it called? The what you get section. Go to advanced. I'm going to copy the CSS selector here by clicking this icon, copy. Now I'm going to go up to my custom CSS and go to the second line here for my buttons and paste over this section to replace it with the new ID for this new section, and click save. So now you'll see our button looks great, right? So let's add some space between the button here and this header. Let's do it as 20 pixels. That's probably fine. And then we need to add our icons, our credit card icons again here. So I'm just going to go and clone it. Clone, drag it. Here we go. And then we're going to left align them. Bam. Just like that. Okay. And I think I'm going to add some line space to the bullets. Let's make it 1.5. Space them out a little bit. Okay. That's looking pretty good. Now what we have to do is we have to assign the rounded corners background to this row, right? So let's grab this row, clicking on the blue, selecting that. Go over here to advance. I'm going to select a full border. I'm going to make the border radius 5 pixels. And I'm going to select no border. And then I'm going to go to general, and I'm going to select the background as, let's do this dark gray background so you can see it just a little more. Okay, that's looking pretty sweet, I would say. Pretty sweet. Okay, what I want to do too is I want to add some padding on the top and bottom of this row. So we can do it a couple of ways. I could add padding to the columns or to the row, and I think I'm going to do it to the columns. So let's add some padding to the column. Let's do it. Let's do it 20 pixels. Yeah, 20 pixels. That's good. And 20 pixels to the top of this one. 20 pix. And let's make sure. Let's see. What kind of padding do we have above this element? The 0. Do we have any padding above this? No, 0, 0. So, okay. So we're pretty good there. I think we're in good shape for this next section. We got that wrapped up. So I'm going to save. Bam. Okay. Now we need a 3-column row right here. Okay. So we need another section. Before I do, I'm going to select the what you get section, and I'm going to change the color of this to the dark gray, which is to match our background. Actually, so what we'll do then is we'll change the color of this row. Let's see, maybe we'll make it black. Let's see, let me stretch this out a little bit. Okay, here's what we'll do. Dark gray. Okay, so let's color this row a little bit differently. Let's go custom colors and add this light color. Let's see. That's really not working for us, is it? What color do we have up here? We have this background gray. Ah, that's the problem. I was selecting the wrong color. Let's go background gray here, and let's select the dark gray here. Ah, there we go. Much better. Okay, sweet. Looking good. All right. Okay, we got that section knocked out. Let's go to our 3-column section now. So let's add a new section. This one's going to be easy. Let's add a new section here. Blam. And we're going to add a 3-column row by going here. Blam. And then we're going to change the background of the section here to the background gray. And in this section, we need to add some elements, right? We need to add some text and header elements. So let's grab, doesn't matter. Let's grab this one since it's close to us. Blam, and let's make it centered. And let's grab this text element right here since it's the closest one and drag this over and center it. Okay, now let's grab our statistics here and paste these in. Copy. Copy. Let's do, actually, yeah, let's do this. Let's make this bigger. Let's do this as maybe 58. Yep, that looks pretty good. And I think this is 18, which is great. And I think the spacing looks pretty good here for both of these. So let's just delete these columns here. And I'm just going to clone this one since I already have this here. And then all you got to do is copy and paste over it. Okay, so let's grab the 97%, paste that. Grab this text here. And then for the section, I want to create some additional padding here, some margin, top and bottom. Whoops. Oh, I see why. Okay, top and bottom. I'm glad I did this actually. So you see when I added the margin on the above this and below this, why is there white back behind there in the background of the page? That's because I didn't go up here into the background and make my background page color this dark background gray that I wanted. Okay, boom. So there we go. So no more white behind there. Okay, so that section's done, and let's call this our stats section, right? Stats section. I'm going to save. Okay, let's continue on to our next section over here. We need to create this section here with some column text and 3 columns here for the step 1, 2, and 3. So I'm just going to call this the step section, and we add it over here. So I'm just going to add a new section up here. It's going to be a full width under our stats section. There we go. I don't need to color the background actually now because I've got my actual background colored. If you remember, we just did this a minute ago. I changed the background color to this background gray. So I don't really need to color the background sections anymore. I should have done that from the beginning, but hey, got to the same place. So, okay, so we need to add a 1 column row here for the text. And let's go up and grab, because we're going to create this block here. So let's go up and grab, this is probably the same type size here. So I'm going to clone this one and we're going to drag it down into our area there. I'm going to clone this text block and drag this down underneath here. So now we're going to copy and paste. Blam. And copy paste. This might be a little bit big, but let's see if we stretch it out. Yeah, it's a little bit big. So we'll make this 58. Let's do it 48 for desktop. Okay. And then I want to eliminate some of the space, the padding. It looks like the padding's not under this headline element, but it's at the top of this text, the paragraph element. Let's see. Well, maybe I didn't drag this in the right place. Let me drag this up. Ah, there we go. Okay. I had this down in this other section down here in the bottom, so I just had to drag it up into this section. So now I can create a little margin underneath this headline. There we go. Okay, so now what we need to do is create these 3 columns right here. And since I've kind of already done this above, like with these up here, I'm just going to clone, make it easy. I'm going to clone this row here. So let's clone this row and let's drag, if I can grab it, let's drag it down here. Come on. Right, where are we? Oh, I got to go a little bit down, a little bit far. I'm just going to use the arrow key to turn this down. 1, and I'll send it down another. There we go. Okay, that's exactly where we want them. So now I'm going to create the 3 columns right here, the steps 1, 2, and 3. And I don't need this image here, so I'm just going to Actually, I'm going to leave this image because we're going to use this in a minute, because I need to add these 3 images here for each step. Okay. So this is going to be, this text right here is going to be step 1. It's going to be centered. And I'm going to copy this text block, paste it in here and center it. And this image is also going to be centered. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, because I need 3 of these, I'm just going to clone. I'm going to clone this column twice. Blam. Okay, so there's our 3 columns. So this is going to be step 2. Step 2. Let's copy and paste this copy here. Oh, I think I missed this one. Copy. There we go. And then step 3. This copy. Okay. Now let's create some padding. Let's see the padding in here. I need to create some padding between the image and this text here because it's really tight. So what kind of margin do we have? We've got 10 pixels below. I'm going to do this as, let's try 20. Okay. And now let's go replace, actually, let's do the same thing on this one. This is 20. And this already also, oh, looks like there's a return in here. Let's get rid of this. There we go. And add our 20 pixels of margin underneath this element. Okay, now we can go replace these images. So let's select the left one. Let's see. Don't see them in here. Okay, no worries. Let's just go over here and save as. We'll make this step 1. We'll save this one as step 2. Copy that. And then we'll save this one as step 3. Paste, make it a 3, and go. Okay, now we can upload these. Wonder if this image looks like this one. LP, that's probably it actually. So let's select this one, see if it is. There we go. That's the one I want. So we select this one, and the reason why it's small is because I have a width entered. But remember, for the icons are really small up here. So we needed to enter a width to keep those a specific size, nice and small. So this one has a width applied on it because we just cloned it. And so I'm just going to remove this width. And there we go. Our image looks much better that way. So let's go with this one. This is this image. And let's remove the width. And then this one, step 3 image. Let's go grab that one. This is the modal. Blam. No. Okay, great. All right, so I think that's looking pretty good, right? Exactly what we needed to do. Create this section right over here. Okay, we're doing good. Now we need to add this button on underneath this in this section, underneath the 3 columns. And this is a custom button I created in Photoshop. So it's just an image. So what I need to do is I need to add a single row or 1 column row underneath the 3 column row that I have here within this section. Okay, so here's the green section. Let me spread this out so you can see this better. Here's our green section, right? It contains all of this stuff, all of these elements. And this is our 3 column row here. So I needed to add a 1 column row underneath this 3 column row so that I could put this button in because it's in a single row. Okay. So let's go add element here. Let's select an image and let's go grab this preview button image that I created. It's right here. There we go. That looks pretty good. Okay. And I think let's just add, I need to add this button and the credit card icons underneath the preview funnel image. So let's go copy those, make it easy on ourselves, right? Let's go drag this one down, find that sweet spot to drag. There we go. And add it to this single row column. Let's center it. And let's also grab the image of the credit cards, drag this down. And whoops, Drag it up here. There we go. And center it. Blam. And now, remember, we need to set the button for our for this section down here. So what I need to do is click on this section, go to Advanced, and grab the CSS selector for this specific section. Okay, and then go to the custom CSS, and I believe this was the third one. Let me count. There's our first button. There's our second button, and this will be our third. Okay, so we go here. Let's go to the third line in the CSS here and replace this CSS selector for the section. Save, and we should see our button. There we go. Button looks great. Now I just want to add some padding between the preview panel button and the get snapshot button. So let's add some a margin under here. Let's do about 40 pixels. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now let's save. Okay, did I name this section? I guess I didn't. So this was going to be our steps section. Okay, so let me save that. Okay, what we got next? We got our testimonials section next. Okay, great. So what I did earlier is I created this section already and I saved it as a global section. And so all I need to do is go grab my global section that I saved as for my testimonials and add that to the page. So instead of adding a new section here, I'm going to come down here to global sections and find my testimonials and just drag that down here where I want it. And blam, there we go. So there's our testimonials already pre-built. It's got our button in there automatically too, so we're good to go. Okay. Let's go. Okay, amazing bonuses. This is what's next. So we have a section here that includes looks like 3 or 4 2-column rows and a couple single column rows here too. Okay. So let's see. And this is, you can see that we have no breaks in the backgrounds here. So it's not separated columns. It's just a full it's a full row with the background instead of the over here. What we have is our row that has no background, but the background and the rounded corners is applied to the columns in here. So we just want to create the same effect, but on the actual row back here. Okay, so there's no gap in between the columns here. Okay, so first of all, let's create our new section here. I'm just going to grab a new one. And this is going to be a full width. Okay. And then we're going to add our headlines here by cloning. Let's go. Oh, there we go. Did I get it? No. Oh, I needed to add a row first. I'm going to add a single column row. Now I can add the element to it. All right. Now let's duplicate this paragraph, drag that down here, add it under testimonials. Okay, now let's copy and paste amazing bonuses. And let's copy and paste this text block. Okay, now we need to add a single, a double column row here to accommodate this content. Okay, so let's go up here. We're going to go to rows and we're going to select a 2-column row. Blam. And then for this one, we are going to put a background color of our dark gray, I believe. There we go. And then actually, I think it's not the dark gray. I think it's the custom color that we have here. It's this custom color 87, which is, remember, just barely a little bit of white. So it's really, really almost 100% transparent, just so we show a little background on top of there, just like this section up here. Okay. Then all we have to do is we have to add the rounded corners to this row. So we're going to go to advanced. We're going to go to border. We're going to select full border. The border radius is going to be 5 pixels, and then we're going to select no border. Okay, and there we go. So we've got our rounded corners around the whole the whole row. Okay, now we can add our elements in our 2 columns. So first of all, I want an image. So I'm going to add an element here and select image, and then we're going to go grab this prompt image here. And I believe it's this one, prompt PNG. There we go. Okay. Now what I want to do, there's a little padding around the image, so it's fine for this block actually, but I like things like perfectly aligned here on the edges. So I'm just going to remove all the padding around the image and create the padding, assign the padding inside the column itself. So let's go 0, 0, 0, and 0. Okay. And then I'm going to select this column here. And first of all, I'm going to make sure our content is left top aligned. So if I just select the left under content spacing, that's going to ensure that our content is left top aligned. And I'm going to do the same thing with the one over on the right. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this row over here, and I'm going to add some padding. Actually, I'm going to take away the padding here, and I'm going to add some margin on the right. Let's do 20 pixels. So that's going to create some nice space in between here to separate our columns. And on this column over here, I'm going to add the margin on the actual left side, 20 pixels. And I'm going to take the padding away here on the left and right. Okay, now let's add bonus one. Okay, so I'm going to start with this paragraph text here. Just drag it down. I'm going to left align it. I'm going to color it the bright green color that we have over here. And then I'm going to also come over to advanced, and I'm going to set this as the text transform to uppercase. And I'm going to bold it by selecting it all and bolding. Let's do this. Bold. Okay, there we go. And then it's going to be bonus one. Copy and paste bonus one. And finally, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some spacing between letters, 3 pixels. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now we're going to do the agency via AI voice prompt. Okay, let's grab, do I have one that's already smaller? This is probably pretty close to the same size, so I'm just going to grab this one. Boom, 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 boom. We're going to add it in here. We're going to left justify it, and we're going to paste it in there. Okay, now we're going to grab these bullets. Copy. We have bullets somewhere up here already, so I'm just going to find the one I already have so I know it's going to match, and clone it and drag it down here. Okay. All right, let's drop this in there, and then I'm going to copy and paste my bullets. Okay, that looks pretty darn good, right? Okay, and actually what I'm going to do for this right column here, I want the content within this column here, I want it to be vertically center aligned, right? So it's always going to be center aligned to this image, just to make it look like really consistent. So so let's select the column and select center, and you can see everything drop down just a little bit to center it vertically within this area. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so now all we have to do is we've got to create 3 more of these. So what's the easiest way to do that? You guessed it. We're going to clone the row. Blam. Okay, and then we're going to, this is going to be our zoom image. So let's replace this image with that one. We're making good progress here. Zoom. Come on. Double click. There we go. Catch up. Okay. This is a bonus 2 right here. And this is the weekly Zoom calls. And then let's copy and paste our bullets for this column. Paste. Okay. That's that one. Now let's clone this again. Let's make sure though, before we clone the next one, see there's no space in between these columns. So there's no margin on the bottom of the row, or there's no space between the rows, sorry. But so that means there's no margin on the bottom of the row. So what I want to do is select the row, the blue, and I want to create some margin here. Let's do it 20 pixels of margin. And I just want to do the same for this one, 20 pixels of margin. Wham. Okay, so now when I clone this, we're going to get some space that I want there. There we go. Okay, so now let's do closebot training is next. Let's grab this closebot image. Closebot is there. Okay, and this is bonus 3. And this is going to be closed bot training here. Oh, here. Closed bot training. And let's copy our bullets here. Paste those. Okay. And then I'm going to clone this row one more time to get our bonus 4 in here. And what's our bonus 4? This is the HighLevel website mastery community image. So let's grab this one. Right there. And let's copy and paste our text over. Boom. And now our bullets, copy, paste. And I noticed that I need to change the color of our bullets because I like this gray over here instead of the white. The white pops pretty good, but I want to keep it consistent with all the other text on the page. So I'm just going to select the bullet list here, and I'm going to make the color this gray text gray color here, right here. Right here, and this one. Okay, so this is, let's call this bonus section, right? Bonuses or bonus section. There we go. Are we done there? Oh, I forgot. We need to add the button and the credit card image down there too. So let's do this. So since we already have it in a row here, we don't need to clone the button separately and this image separately and drag them down. We can just clone this row and we can grab the whole row and drag it down there. Okay. Probably could have done that earlier too, but come on. There we go. So it's in the section. Great. Okay, I'm going to save now. Boom. Save. So now we have our frequently asked questions section. And just like I did previously for my testimonials, I pre-built those. So I'm not going to go into building this from scratch, but I'll show you where to configure all the colors and whatnot and customize this. So let's drop the frequently asked questions global section that are already saved on the page. So I'm going to click plus, go to global sections, and select our FAQs. Blam, drag them there. There we go. Doesn't that look lovely? So when you click on the FAQ element here, I'll show you how to edit this. So I'm going to click on this, and you'll see all of our FAQ list items right here, which are, we can move these around if we want to, drag and drop them. And if we want to add another one, we can clone one of these and just type from there, right? Which is great. So, and we can create different FAQ, different styles. I have them separated right now, and I like this. I like the way this looks. So I typically use the separated. Contained, you can see it looks a little bit different. It's hard to tell because I've got everything on black. And simple is just even a little bit different, but I like the separated. I just like the look and how this looks and feels. And then, so if I go over to advanced, when I have the FAQ element selected, here is where I can go to font options, and I can set my fonts. Of course, they're already pulling from the typefaces that I've already assigned via the typography up there. So I don't really need to change those, but this is where I could define the size of the title and the other attributes here. And then also, if I hide the font options here, I can show the color options. So this is where you can define the colors on every element here. So you can play around with the different things here. Our separation line, let me change this to something we can see. See, that creates an outline around all of our separated FAQ elements here, right? I don't like that. It's a bit too pronounced for me. This might be a little bit too light as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the custom colors, and I'm going to set the line, which is this almost barely white line. And it looks like we can't really, it's really hard to see that. Maybe one of these is a little bit, will work. I just want it really, really subtle. So there we go. That's the subtle line that I want on the outlines here. So you can barely see that outline around each element, right? I think that looks pretty sweet. And then if you wanted to edit these FAQs individually, when you click on the element, the one that you have selected over here in the FAQ list, this is the one that you can edit. So if I double click on the title here, I can start editing. And if I type in the actual the answer here, I can start typing there too and edit this. Whoops. And then I can even edit the titles just by clicking on them here. But if I wanted to open this one up to edit it, you can't open it up when you're in edit mode via the arrow. You have to go in and click on it over here. So let's do the second one from the bottom, which looks like list item 6. So if I select list item 6 over here, that exposes the answer that I can go ahead and edit. Okay. So the FAQs element is really pretty straightforward to use, and it's pretty neat the ways you can configure it. So, and all I did with these items in here, these are, if I select this, you can see this is an H4, so that's why it has this the background gradient or the text gradient to it. Okay, so all right, they're done. Let's call this it's the GS FAQ section. Actually, because I already saved it as a global section, it adds the name for me automatically, so I'm good to go there. Let's save this section. Yes, I want to save. Okay, what's next? I think we're almost done. All right, so we just have to create this call to action section down at the bottom. And as you can see, it's just again, it's a single column row with the rounded corners and a background color applied to it. So this one's going to be easy because we already have this one up here. I'm just going to actually first I'm going to create the section here. I'm going to add a new section right here, and it's going to be a full width section. All right. I'm going to add a row. I'm going to make it a single column row. And now what I can do, actually, I can clone this row and drag it down here. We'll use this to save us some time. And we're going to add this into our section. Because we already had the row, I didn't need to add another one actually here, so I'm just going to delete this one. Okay, so now all we need is a single column, right, with our information here. So let's delete this column over here. So now we just have a single column. I'm going to delete this bonus 4, and then I'm going to grab our frequently asked questions header because it's probably the same size or similar down here that we need. Come on, there we go. So I'm going to delete this one, and the time is now. I'm going to clone. Where's our closest little piece of text here? There we go. I'm going to clone this one, drop it here, paste. We're going to delete our bullets. Now we just need to add our button and our credit card images again. So because these items are going to fall inside of a row already, I can't just clone this row and drop them in. I have to get them independently. So let's clone this button first and drag it into our row. Come on, there it is. Drag it into our row. I think I missed it. Gotta get it up here. There we go. I can move this around. I can remove some space here. Let's do 20 pixels. Actually, I don't want any padding there, but I want some margin. Let's create 40 pixels of margin. No, let's do 20. There we go. That looks much better with the spacing like it is over here. Pretty close anyway. Let's copy and paste. Blam. And this is a little bit bigger, so let's make this one a little bit bigger too, because it's our main call to action over here. We'll just make it, let's try 62. How's that? We'll do a little bit bigger. Let's do 68. Okay, great. And then the time is now. Now we need our credit card image here. So let's clone this one and let's drag it all the way down here. Just like that. All right. And then we already have our background and rounded corners applied to this row since we cloned the one that we had above. So I'm just going to save now. Okay, now we're almost done. So all we have to do next is let's make sure our mobile display is polished. And for me, when I'm building funnels like this, I always make sure that it's got to look great on mobile first. So even though I do all my layouts on desktop first, just to get everything in there, it's a little bit easier for me to work in this wide format instead of this little narrow page, right? So I work in this wide format to save time to get all of my content in here that I want on the page. And then I'll go back and just make some adjustments for mobile. And sometimes it's necessary to, I'll have a like a hero section on desktop, where I have like a specific layout for that. And then sometimes when you check that on the mobile, even though you can like reduce, like you can assign your padding and margins to elements within that separately for mobile, sometimes that's not enough to get your layout exactly how you want it on mobile. And so in a lot of cases, if I have a hero on the desktop, I will clone that and show a different version of that only on the mobile device, so I can control the layout and how that looks exactly on a mobile. So, and again, I do that quite often. In this case, I don't think that's necessary because we just have single column. Everything's in a single column for this main area up here. So let's just make sure we have the right amount of spacing or margins, and make sure our typefaces are like a good size for mobile, right? So that's all we need to do for this funnel to check those. Okay. So as you can see, that looks way too big for mobile, our main headline here. So all we've got to do is come over here under font size and make this, so 36. Let's do 32. Okay, I think 32 looks pretty good. So let's go here now and change these text blocks, maybe 18. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, now one thing that I want to point out here, and one thing that I do almost always when I'm building funnels, and especially for the mobile view, this is going to be helpful because I don't know about you, but I don't like when I look at pages on a mobile and everything is crammed to the edges of my mobile phone. I want some breathing room around my content, so it's really easy to look at and it's actually nice to look at, right? So what I'll do when I go to mobile mode, I'll make sure my sections here, if I click on my green section, there we go, I'll make sure that I add 10 pixels of padding on the left and right to these sections, especially on mobile. So that gives a little bit more breathing room on a small phone, and it just makes things look more polished and clean. Okay. So our first section looks pretty good. Let's change this one. This is 36, 58. What did I make? I made this 32 up here. So this is probably 32 is probably going to work for this as well. Okay, pretty good. And this was 18. Okay, and our bullets, let's make these 18 as well. 18, I'm going to copy 18 over here, so I can just click over here and paste. And I can click over here and paste. All right, now let's make this 32. And this is 18, so I'm just going to paste my 18 over here. I love doing this stuff to save time, copying and pasting whenever I can. So now I've got this other section here that holds this information. So sometimes when you're in mobile, it's hard to grab the section behind the rows, especially if you have the paddings zeroed out. So I'll go back over to desktop and I'll select this section here. It's easy for me to grab it here. And I'll make sure my padding is 10 pixels left and right here. And let's make sure it does the same on mobile. I've got it selected already, so I just have to change it here and here. Okay, so it gave me a little breathing room on the sides, which looks much better in my opinion. And then also, it's hard to see, so let me change something here. I'm going to set the background of this column to a color that's like pretty bright, so we can see the background. Okay, and the reason why I wanted to do this, I wanted to show you how the elements here are butting up against the edge of the columns. I think that looks absolutely horrible. So all we need to do, instead of adding padding to the individual elements on the left or right, I'm going to select the column and I'm going to add my padding to the column. 20 pixels on the right and the left. Okay, so that looks way better. Now the content's got a lot of breathing room. It looks polished. Looks great, right? So let's go to custom colors and assign our background color again. Might be hard to see, but now we've got a lot of breathing room. Just by selecting the column, you can see the spacing that we have around here on the inside. It looks way better. So I'm just going to do the same for these other columns. Add 20 pixels of padding on the right and left. This one, let's grab this one, 20 pixels, 20 pixels. And again, if you can see, if I'm adding the padding here, I am adding this only for the mobile view. So the HighLevel has recently added the ability for us to control the padding on desktop and mobile views, which is like that's really a good thing. So I love the way that they did this for us to make us let us control the layout on mobile way better, right? So let me do this to 2 more columns here. Add my padding left and right 20 pixels. Okay, and then 1 more. Click 20, click 20. All right, there we go. So we're looking pretty good here. And these should be 18 point, 18 point. Looks good. And these headings here for mobile, what are these? I want to make these a little bit smaller. Let's do this. What do we have here? We've got 32, 36. Let's make these 32, or maybe 30. Maybe we can get some on one line. There we go. Make these 30. Still very readable, right, on mobile. Not too small. I hate sometimes when I look at new templates in HighLevel, and when I view them on mobile, the mobile layout, you can tell that it really hasn't been, like, nobody spent a lot of time there to make sure it's nice and polished. Oh, looks like I missed one here. Let's do 20 pixels here and 20 pixels here. So I really like to spend some time making my mobile views look like really good. So let's do this one too. 20 pixels, 20 pixels. Come here. Oh, come here. There we go. Did I make sure I have a snapshot, 3-step custom values, employee workflows, employee? Yeah, okay, great. All right, I've got all those. So now I want to make this type size 18. And you can see I can easily select the section from in here now, like towards the bottom. And you can see that I've got my padding 10 pixels on the right and left to, give that some breathing room. Let's see for this one. I don't have the padding on left and right, so I'm just going to add padding to this section for 10 pixels on the left and right. Again, give this a little more breathing room. I need to adjust some type styles, some type sizes here. Let's make this 16 point. Okay, and then employee snapshot, let's make this 32. Good, got it on one line. We'll check it on mobile in a minute. Let's make this one 32. Let's make the bullets 18 point. Okay, and do we have some padding inside this column? Let's go over here. I'll select the column here. Yeah, I think we're good with the padding around inside the elements here because I created some margin here. So I think the padding looks okay here, right? Let's see. Yeah, I think we're good with the padding in this section. Okay, and even in this column, so we're good there. Let's see, regular price, is that 18 point? Yeah, let's make this 32. I want to get this on one line, so we might have to go smaller with this one. 28, let's try that. Okay, let's center these things for mobile view. And that's the other thing, one of the other things that HighLevel added recently too. Our alignment is separate for desktop and mobile. So I'm just going to align everything center on, at least for the images here and the buttons. Center, there we go. Okay, we're doing good. Let's go on to the next section here, which is this one right there. Okay. You know what I want to do? I want to see there's some space, there's some margin in between these two sections, and it's really not consistent with the rest of my page. Does it matter? Not really, because you can't see any extra space, but it matters to me. So I'm just going to remove the margins top and bottom here of this section. Okay. And then I'm just going to, I think the padding's okay for mobile here. There's enough breathing room in between these two sections. So I'm just going to leave the padding there, but I'm going to add my left and right padding of 10 pixels to the section. Okay. And then these 58, I'm going to make these smaller. I'm going to make these 48 pixel or 48. Let's see, and 48 right here for this one. These should be 18. Yep, those are 18. Those are fine. Okay. So what's my next section here? Okay. Next section is here. I'm going to create, let's add our padding 10 pixels left and right. Again, I do this in almost every case. There very rarely do I not do this. The only time I really don't do this is if I want an image to go to bleed to the edges. So any extra space I add in the section will add the extra space unless the image is set as a background of that section, right? Then the spacing won't matter. It'll cover the whole area. So let's go and change this to 36. I think it was 32 actually. There we go, 32. This is 18. And I know this is a little tedious, but it's absolutely necessary if you want to have really clean, polished layouts, right? So this is why I do this. So I think these are pretty good. Okay, this looks good. What else do we have in the section? Let's make sure these are centered. Yep. Let's make sure the button's centered for mobile. It is. Let's make sure our credit card, that's centered too. Okay, next section, testimonials. So this is my global section, and I forgot to add the padding to my testimonial. So let's do it right here. And when we save, it's automatically going to update this global section to retain that padding, which is pretty cool. So let's leave this stuff alone. That type size is good. These look good to me on mobile. Our button and image is centered here. These look good. This is 18, great. Here's where we need to add some padding, I believe, to this section. Okay, there we go. Because you see how tight it is to the left and right? Let's add our padding. And I would just, I would just get in the habit of adding 10 pixels left and right to all of your sections, unless you don't want to, image to have any gaps in between the section to the edges. So just count on doing that from now on. It'll make your layouts way better. Okay, 32. Let's make these 18 to make sure they're consistent with our other bullet sizes. 18 here. The headlines are 30. This should be 32. Okay, I think this one, yeah, I made that 32 already. This one needs to be 32. Bullets here, 18. Here, 32 again, and 18 for the bullets. Did I get it? 32 here, or did I move too fast? Yep, I moved too fast. 32. There we go. So our button and bullet, our image is centered. Our frequently asked questions. Let's see if I added the spacing on this. Yes, I did to the frequently asked questions global section. So that's good. Now we just have our section down here in the bottom, our CTA section. Let's call that the CTA section right there. And then add our padding left and right. Add our space, consistent space. And we're pretty much done. Let's publish this. Publish. There we go. And what I want to do is I want to check this. Like, it's one thing to check in the HighLevel builder via the mobile view, but it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to display here as it does on your mobile phone. So it's always wise to check your layouts on your mobile with the actual live page. It's the only way you're going to know for sure that it looks decent. So let's do this. I want to make sure I'm going to copy this link, and I'm going to text this to myself. I'm going to text it to myself right here. And then I'm going to pull this up on my mobile, and I'm going to show you that in about 2 seconds. There we go. Here's my mobile. And here's my mobile right here. Okay. And I'm on an iPhone, just so you know. And if I scroll through here, let's see if everything looks good. The spacing looks good. The type size looks good. This looks a little bit close to the edges for me. Right here, I get it. Let's see what we have here. Did we add the spacing on this section? No. See, I missed the 10 pixels left and right in this section. So let's go add that. 10 pixels left and right. And I'm going to publish. And let's go back to my mobile phone. And the way, just so you know, the way I'm able to show my mobile phone on screen here is I'm on a Mac, and I'm using QuickTime to do a movie recording, and I'm selecting my iPhone that's plugged in via my USB port as the source of my movie. So that's how I'm able to show my mobile phone here live. Okay. Let me refresh again on my mobile phone. Sometimes the cache takes a minute to kick. and is actually not doing it right now. So let me close this window. I'm going to tap on it again in my messages right here and see if it'll reload it for me without me having to go in and reset my cache. It's not right now. Let me do this. Let's go, and I'm going to go to settings, and I'm going to go to Safari, which is in my settings here. And I'm going to go down at the bottom, and I'm going to clear my history and website data. But I'm going to keep all my tabs open. If I click close tab, tap close tabs here in the bottom right here, it's going to erase all of my tabs that I have open. And I have like 40 tabs open that I use all the time. So I'm going to keep those open. So I'm just going to clear history right now. Blam. And then I'm going to go back to my message and tap my link again. And this should purge my cache and show me my spacing now that I just added. And there we go. That looks much better, doesn't it? Way better right here on the edges, right? Okay, super duper. One thing I don't like though right now, you see these bullets here. The line spacing is way too tight for me, right? So let's go fix that. These should be 1.3, but they're probably 1. Yep, 1.1. 1, or blah, 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 1. So I'm going to make these 1.3. Set the line height on these for 1.3. Right here. And then one more here. If they can catch up to me. 1.3. Blam there. Okay, I'm going to publish this. Let's go back and look at the mobile. So we've got I'm going to refresh this, see if it picks that up in the cache. And it's not yet. Looks like I've got to clear my cache again to get this to pick up. But these are the things that you have to do, guys, if you want to make sure your stuff is right. And this is what I have to do all the time. But it's way worth it because you get your layouts exactly the way you want it. Still not clearing the cache for me. Let me go back and see if let me publish it. Maybe I click save and not publish. Don't remember. Okay, all published. So let's refresh again on the phone and see if it does it. No. I'm going to try one more time. Where's my QuickTime? I'm going to try one more time to clear my website data and go back here. And I'm just going to refresh for good measure while I'm here. And let's see if it set our line height now. No. So for whatever reason, it's just that the cache isn't picking this up right now. So I'm just going to continue on here. Let's see how everything else looks. Looking good so far. Did I miss something up here? No, I think we're doing okay. Spacing's pretty good. Looks pretty consistent. Okay. Good. One thing I see here, I think I want to center the prices here just to look a little bit better on mobile. So let's go here and I'm going to center this block and I'm going to center this block. Okay, and let's go back to mobile again and let's continue. Those look pretty good, right? Nice. Spacing looks good. Nothing looks crammed against the screen, edges of the screen. Things look good centered. Typefaces are fine. Good sizes. Here's my bonus section. Bullets look good. I've got the proper line height in those bullets, so those are looking great. Our frequently asked questions. I'll show you. I'll tap on these to open and close them so you can see these. These look pretty good too, right? Nice, and they're not too small, right? And they're not too big. All right, I think we're looking like really, really good here. I think, yeah, I think we've come to the end of this masterclass. I'm going to continue with this masterclass, and what I'm going to do in the extended version of it is you can see that there's a number of pages in the funnel here. And we have a buy page, and the buy page has a product connected to it so people can actually check out. So in the extended version of my masterclass, I will show you how to add a product in HighLevel, how to first integrate Stripe, and then you can add a product and then assign that to a funnel page so when people, I'm going to click on the buy page here so you can see this. when somebody comes to your page and clicks to buy, it'll take them to a page that looks like this, right? With a one-step order form here. And the product is actually assigned to the product that you have assigned to this funnel page will be displayed in here so somebody can order this in checkout right now, right? So the buy page is one part of the extended funnel, the extended masterclass that I'm going to do. And then I have a thank you page. I've got a privacy policy, a terms of use, and an SMS terms of use page as well. I'll show you how to wire those up. So you'll, when you go to, if you haven't already, when you go to submit your number for A2P registration and verify that, you'll get verified in like 24 to 48 hours tops. It's never failed me once. And having these pages in the funnel linked to a live URL that you can include in your scripts for applying for A2P verification will get you verified in no time, 24 to 48 hours tops. That's all I've ever needed, and it's worked every time. So, funny, I see a typo right here. Let me fix my typo on here. Publish this. Okay. So again, I hope you've enjoyed this masterclass showing you how to build the actual promo page here on the front of the funnel. And if you'd like the extended version of this masterclass that will show you how to build all the other pages and how to create a product in HighLevel, how to assign that product to your page so somebody can actually buy and check out, that will be part of the extended masterclass, as will building all of the other pages that I just showed you. So look out for that. Let me know if you like this video. Let me know that you would love the extended version of this masterclass to give you all the other components in there. And hey, aside of that, have a great day. I hope you like this masterclass. I hope it was really helpful to you.